I don't know where he doesn't know. People ask where are you going to get that money. He doesn't know where he's going to get it
What
from.
about old girl saying she gonna wipe out college debt? If we went to a
Kamala,
public-
Kamala.
Warren has
No,
said
that was Warren.
Yeah, Senator
Oh,
Elizabeth
Warren.
Warren. Yeah.
She got your vote.
You know what? Here's the reality.
I'm not excited about it.
Here's the reality. It worked. Because nobody was checking for Elizabeth Warren, and after she said this, now all of a sudden it's everywhere. Even people who don't even have been interested in the presidential candidates, all of a sudden like, oh my God, I heard student debt wiped out. Like who was that? That no, it worked.
Yeah.
Now, if she can pass some of that inspiration to Cory Booker, he might have a shot. Like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get creative and think outside the box.
I was disappointed that he didn't make one of those town halls, though. You know, I'm sure if Joe Biden had announced in time, he would have been there. But Booker has been trailing. Like, Booker's been trailing. Buttigieg has been trailing. Even though he's had a lot of media uproar and people are still really watching him, he didn't make it to that town hall. Amy Klobuchar did, interestingly enough. So Bernie Sanders was interviewed. Obviously, Kamala Harris was there. Elizabeth Warren was there. And I think that one of the biggest things that you want to watch, at least that I got out of the town hall, here are the highlights. So the first thing is that free college seemed to be universally supported, Medicare for all, and also just serious economic reform. So I think all of the stuff that we've heard about, even the debt wipeout, as crazy or as difficult as it sounds, those are all ideas that were very popular in this in that town hall.
Who will qualify for, or will be eligible for the debt wipeout?
So we don't know. She don't have no real details.
Well, under Warren's plan, she says it will be 75% of all student debt holders. So it would cover 75% because it's going to be based on income, I believe.
Didn't she also say that you had to go to a public university? So like if you went to private, you wouldn't make it.
So that makes up about 75% as well. So all those factor into it. It's income based. It's college based. It only applies to people who currently have student. Like it's not a going forward sort of a provision. It's just a cancellation. But she also supports free college. I think Vox reported that there was winners and losers coming out of it. They listed all those as the winners: Medicare for all, free college. They said that Hillary was the big loser of the night because of the term Hillary. They say has been officially coined in history. All the female candidates were asked about whether or not they thought they'd be Hillaried, meaning that they would face sexism and discrimination.
Hillary.
Oh my God.
It's basically
No, she's not.
No. It's basically a term now for an unelectable female politician, unfortunately, which I know is not the legacy that Hillary Clinton was hoping for. But other big things that came out of that, very important to know. The biggest headline was from Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders, out of Vermont, who backed voting rights for felons. Now, in particular, I don't know why the question was asked this way or how this came up. He was asked, so the Boston bomber, obviously someone who carried out a terrible massacre, domestic violence, something that the city of Boston is still reeling from, do you think he should have the right to vote? And he said, yeah. Now, and people are still in an uproar about it, and they definitely were upon hearing that. And he's doubled down on it since. Basically, especially Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who came out very firmly immediately after that and said, heck no, he does not think that should happen, to say the least. He said part of the punishment when you're convicted of a crime and you're incarcerated is that you lose certain rights, you lose your freedom. So he believes in restoring rights after you've served your sentence, but not while you're in prison. So this became a big headline all week long because people were, I saw it on The Real discussed, and it made my eyes roll back, basically. And on The View, because people are using really extreme examples. Like, they're talking about murder and, rapists and pedophiles, and it's like...
Yeah. But more so the nonviolent crimes.
Right.
I definitely think that you should not be able to vote while you're in jail, but after you get out, it's... you're just putting yourself back into society. And I think that's one of the things that might help the Democratic Party be more represented as well.
I think so too. Well, here's the thing. Like, we have so many people in prison right now that if prisoners could vote, it would swing an election, which I think says something right there. Like, if we have so many people in prison that they could actually change election outcomes, then we probably have so many people in prison.
Yeah.
And over 88% of those people are there for nonviolent crimes, which doesn't necessarily mean that they were drug dealers. It's like, you bounce your parking tickets, you fail to pay your child support or pay enough child support. Lots of different felonies that exist from traffic violations in certain places are felonies. Maybe here you get a fine, maybe over there it's a misdemeanor or a felony. This is just how it works. So I do think this whole conversation is very skewed, but nonetheless, that was the big takeaway for the night. Kamala Harris was kind of tentative about it. She said, I think we should have that conversation, end quote, which is very diplomatic. answer.
Well, that's because she's gonna play the side because her little past with her prosecution.
Right, I'm like, you were a prosecutor. I need to hear what you have to say about
but I
this.
think she was happy that it kind of died down because they were going in on her
really
about that. So she don't want to ruffle feathers.
The wrong things.
Yeah, so I kind of see where she went with that. That's I get it.
To me, it's just like, really, you don't have anything to say about this? Like, really,
she has something to say, but again, like at this moment in time, I think she's just trying to.
You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, especially when you've been shot in the foot and you were able to recover. You don't want to get shot in the foot again because this
has
time
she recovered
take your toe off.
I was gonna say,
nobody's really talking about it like they were. So
true,
that's recovery.
True.
That's
and when
recovery.
you have 20 people in the field, like you would think the attention would be on somebody else eventually, but I mean, there's more to that. But I just think this was a very good chance for us to kind of see who else could be running because we know Joe Biden has a lot of name recognition. But we haven't necessarily heard everyone else speak that we don't know. So I think it was good. If you can still check it out on YouTube. More importantly, Democrats just need to focus on beating Republicans. Because I have a clip. Joseph, can we play it? So this is a clip that I was watching Young Turks, and Mitch McConnell, who is on the Republican side, of course, Republican Majority Leader, basically said that he has a plan if Democrats win to do the same thing that they did under Obama, which is just stop every single thing from passing.
Oh God, we still doing that?
Yeah, so Senator Obama, former President Obama, previously that being a senator, has always had experiences with filibusters. But Mitch McConnell became like the king of that, which a filibuster essentially is, in the Senate, you have the ability to hold the floor. You can speak as long as you want, which means that people sit there till 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., it's just an obstructionist tactic to stop things from getting passed. And it's childish, and it's stupid, and it costs money and time. And it's something that he says that they plan to do again if there is any bill for, like, free college or Medicare for all, any Democratic bill, or if there's a Democratic president. That's what he says he'll do. So I have a clip that I thought everybody should hear while we're squabbling over these candidates. Do you have it?
It's right here.
So what I want you to know is this isn't just some young woman from New York who just got elected to Congress. It's much broader than that. So I think we're going to have a debate next year about what America ought to be like. And stay tuned, because all of us collectively are going to determine which direction we're going to take next year. If I'm still the majority leader of the Senate after next year, none of those things are going to pass the Senate. They won't even be voted on. So think of me as the Grim Reaper. The guy who's going to make sure that socialism doesn't land on the president's desk.
Well,
here's the thing. Like, it's one thing to have your opinions, but I believe everything should be voted on if it's brought to the table. Like, you're there to vote on things. That's your literal job as a official, is to vote on bills that people are interested in certain areas, right? You're from Kentucky. I get it. Where you are, Medicare sounds crazy. Global warming is a myth. Like, I get that. But there are 49 other states.
This is real.
Right. There are people with other ideas, and the point of you being there on our dime is literally to vote on things, not to obstruct things. If you're so right about where you stand, then it won't pass. But to say, well, I'm going to make sure nothing gets voted on is like,
stupid,
you need to clear out that field, or this is what Democrats have to look forward to.
See, this is where the American people should be able to say, okay, we pay you to do a job. And when you pull stunts and shows like this, you're not doing that job. So somebody dock your paycheck, the big 6-figure paycheck you make to sit in this chamber all day and make these decisions and make these calls, and dock your pay for pulling stunts like this. Then we'll see how funny it is when nothing gets passed, because the legislation y'all pass affects us. So you sitting there and going back and forth and filibustering does not help the American people.
Yeah.
So we should be able to dock your pay. These are the times we should be able to dock their pay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? When they giving out paychecks, and I mean literally giving out paychecks. Like, exactly. Remember you said that them 3 hours you sat there and those 10 hours you filibustered? Yeah, we took that out your check. So you're not seeing that 6-figure check this go around. Like, this is ridiculous. This is stupid.
Can they do